It's that time of the week again. It's the Gift of Gaming podcast, and it is the end of the month, so that means it's the news. It's me, your host, Darren Wade, and today I am joined by none other than Mr. Xbox Games Pass himself, Luke Maycock. Luke, how are you?
What's up, Darren? I'm doing really well, thank you. I actually have a little scare of an update for you on my title. I might be cancelling my Games Pass subscription soon.
Oh my God. What is the reason?
It's, so money is a thing.
Of course.
That we all have to track and stuff like that. And I'm kind of weighing up all of the, just doing a general budget, weighing up all of the subscriptions across my life, than basing them on how much value I get out of them. Mm-hmm. And Game Pass doesn't crack the very top. It was up there for a really long time, but I pay for stupid things like YouTube and that kind of thing. And that is, I get a lot of value out of that. Spotify, I get a lot of value out of that. Mm-hmm. But Game Pass, I don't have the time to download and play all the games that I want. So it's kind of, and I have so many games on Steam, on my Steam Deck, so many games on my Switch. I just have a library of games that I still want to get through. And yeah.
So ladies and gentlemen, introducing Mr. YouTube Premium himself, Luke Maycock. Luke, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me on the podcast there. No, yeah, it's good. I'm doing well.
Good.
Quick, introduce me so I can talk.
Sorry. And also, feeling, on a news episode for the first time ever is Craig the Critical Nolan. Craig, hello.
Nice to be here. What are you talking about, Luke? Oh my God, you've gotten rid of your Games Pass?
I haven't gotten rid of it yet, because I am going to hold on to it for one more month, and then I'll see. I just a big factor of it is time as well.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I mentioned before, I'm in college as well as working full time, so I won't have any time to play anything for the next few weeks, and then I'll be free from my next college assignments after the first week in July. So I'll kind of have the rest of July to see what I play. I'm not going to force it. I'm just going to see what I feel like playing.
Well, it's good to know. But like the more people who don't subscribe to Game Pass, the better, in my opinion. Because ever since the Game Pass, I've noticed more and more each year that Microsoft, because they have your money, they have absolutely no reason to make games anymore. Like,
it's like Steam.
They may as well make less and less each year because that's going to turn the profit.
It's the exact same as Steam. Like Valve, when they made Half-Life and Portal and Team Fortress, they're one of the most popular game developers on the planet. And then Steam just became their whole business. And they were like, well, the Steam kind of takes all of our resources, so we're not going to make games anymore. Microsoft are very much turning into that, yeah.
So, like, a few years ago, they bought up dozens of companies, got everyone's money with Game Pass, and then they fired all those companies.
Yeah, closed them all down. Yeah.
So that's what Game Pass does.
Well, that was the interesting thing about the conversation when we had we did the showcase episode, Luke, you and me, and we were talking about, like, is this the cost of Games Pass? It's so cheap. How does it make sense? The best value in gaming, but is this the hidden cost of Games Pass that, like,
it is? Like that because we live in a world where every company has to make more money the next year than they made the previous year, or the CEOs or the people in charge get fired. So that's just the line we walk in modern day. Yeah. So the only way to, like, boost those numbers, if, like, people are subscribing, but in terms of workload,
reduce your overheads,
reduce the amount we're putting out. That way we'll make more money, but still take in the same amount of money off the Game Pass.
If a big corporation like Microsoft acquires your game company, suddenly you get sucked into that model of having to appease shareholders and meet performance targets of sales targets and stuff like that. And if you don't, your head's on the chopping block. And that's not like, it's not like if I were to start making and selling games tomorrow, I'd be doing it because I want to make and sell games. Yeah. But I wouldn't be, like, aiming for targets to, like, the more the better, I guess. But if I got acquired by Microsoft and then got shut down by them, that would be it's weird. It's the cost of Games Pass. It's the cost of exclusivity.
If you got bought up by Microsoft, you'd be too nervous to make anything wildly creative or something that's, like, in any way risque. You'd be stuck doing the whole, like, what sells? The Call of Duties. What sells? The Fortnites.
I don't think creatively you'd have your hands tied, but there'd definitely be because again, with Game Pass, there is, like, a massive variety of games. They really do. Even really artsy games still exist. Like, I can name a few that are just beautiful, very unique games that are on Game Pass. Yeah. And so creatively, you're not really tied, but sales-wise and downloads-wise, that's an anxiety that would get dropped on your head day one. Because you get every studio that puts their game on Game Pass gets given, basically, Microsoft give them a massive chunk of cash for that to kind of based on how many downloads they expect them to make. So Microsoft basically pay you for sales in advance in exchange for putting your game on Game Pass. So immediately you're going to have this anxiety of, oh, you got loads of money for my game, but I wonder if anyone's actually going
to. So you can never have an unexpected hit if it's always Microsoft expecting a certain amount. So
I'd say
if you sell fucking 2 million, but they only thought you'd sell 100,000, did they still only give you 100 grand?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
there you go. Like, but that means they're looking for promising studios to destroy. You know.
Well, evidence based is that's kind of. I wouldn't say that was their MO, but it's kind of been the result of
in my mind that's their MO. Evil corporations do evil things.
Yeah.
What a spicy note to kick off.
I know, right? Who even cares what games we're playing?
How are you doing, Aaron?
I'm good. I was at a festival over the weekend. I was at Beyond the Pale, so I was just in Glendalough Estate partying to some Jungle and Mark Ribier and Jesse Ware. It was a good time. It was a hootenanny of a good time, and the weather was class for the weekend, so I had a blast. So I had very little time for video games. I know.
That's my God. What are you doing here?
Yeah, didn't play.
But it was.
But while you were having the time of your life, I downloaded Pokemon. I played it all weekend.
Which one?
So I had Violet already, or I had Scarlet already. So I downloaded Violet. Like I didn't think, but I was telling you off air. I wanted to restart, but then I looked at my Scarlet and I was like, oh, that's a level 100 Pokemon. Don't want to lose that. Oh, there's Dragonite. Took me ages to get him. Don't want to lose that.
Yeah.
And then ultimately I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna buy the game again, so I'll get the Violet version, and then trade stuff across and then go from there. So I've been breeding lots of like eggs that I want, so to have like level 1 Pokemon, so I can like raise them as I go, as opposed to just getting them in the end game.
Yeah.
By the time I get to the end game, I lose interest. I just want to train them to that point, and then I stop playing. Yeah. So I have like a Gligar. I've got. I'm doing like a Pokemon trainer build from Smash Brothers. I have Pikachu. I have Lucario. I have Incineroar, and I have Greninja. But I have their young forms, so Pikachu and all that stuff. And I'm going to have an Ivysaur. Eventually, I'll just have to hold off, evolving it into Venusaur. But I think at that point, I'll just switch over to Lucario or Mewtwo or something. Have
use
that
them.
Team. But I'm enjoying it. Like, it's good fun. And like, I downloaded the DLC as well, which the first part is woeful. Like, it's the worst, DLC I've ever played in any game.
Is that the stadium place that's out in the water?
No, that's the second part, and that is good. Like, compared to the first part, which is just you're in this Japanese-looking town. There's this kid and his sister, and you take pictures with signposts beside them, and each time they battle you, and then you go to the next signpost, and then you battle one of them again, and then you do that, rinse and repeat, and that's the entire game. But the two siblings are constantly bickering, just in a really melodramatic, just real vanilla-esque pasty story type thing, that it's just filler, but nothing filler. I feel like the guys at Game Freak are the type of people who would do the don't bully videos and would stand with their back to back type thing. Hey, don't do this in kids school, like trying to be cool, but it's just being so incredibly lame.
Those Captain America videos.
Yeah. So you got detention.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Game Freak are just that personified, they're just shit.
You hate Game Freak so much.
I do, just because it's taken them 10 attempts to make a decent game.
So that was going to be my question to you, as a man who recently played Heart Gold and Soul Silver,
yeah.
And then you've upped it to now Violet and Scarlet. Give me the 3 things that you would want from the next Pokemon game?
Just visuals. Just make it look not like
not awful.
I jumped with the Kyogre Pokemon. What's it? The one on the bike.
Oh, yeah.
And he just went into a nosedive and then just started glitching across for about 10 seconds, and I couldn't even move him. I was like, oh my god, Pokemon!
Yeah.
But the DLC is even worse. Like, the frame rate is dropping like crazy.
Yeah.
Pokemon load buffer in 3 steps in front of you sometimes, and if you're running, sometimes you'll run into them because they spawned at your feet, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So I'd love to go up on top of a mountain and be able to see Pokemon in the distance. That for me would be amazing. Even PlayStation 5 and stuff don't really do that type of stuff anymore, because I played GTA, and if ever you go off a road, suddenly there's no cars, type of thing. So when you see stuff in the distance, it's not really there, I'd love to see more of that, but if PS5 can't do it, I don't think Nintendo or Game Freak are anyway capable of doing it.
But I guess that's what people were asking for when they saw how good Breath of the Wild looked on the Switch. Everyone was like, why can't they do this with Pokemon?
If it could look just like that, that would be more
amazing.
than enough. Yeah,
maybe the next Switch will
maybe.
Yeah. Well, they announced the newest Pokemon game, which was we haven't seen any sort of gameplay of it, but they announced it was like, I think it's to do with an old city. I can't remember. It was a cool.
Isn't that it's kind of a sequel to those Arceus.
Oh,
ones,
is it?
That
is the proper open world one, the first open world one that they tried to do.
So that could be fun. Who knows? Okay, so better graphics. What are your other two top things you'd introduce into a Pokemon game to make them to bring them into the modern day of video
instead
games?
of having 4 moves, have 8 moves, and give the Pokemon more health. I just don't like this one-shot KO thing.
Yeah,
because like the amount of times I've been in the battle and like you're just like, okay, I have this Pokemon and he's definitely got the type advantage. But the opposing Pokemon knows a move that happens to be super effective, and even though they don't get the type advantage, it's still one hits.
Yeah,
and I'm just like,
crits are very unforgiving.
And speed in the Pokemon games is just
the
so OP because if you go first, you win.
Yeah, And I was so disappointing. I was watching the Kind of Funny Games guy. They did a whole playthrough of Pokemon Fire Red with loads of their own mods in it. It was quite cool. But I was following the journey the whole way, real excited. It was what got me to try my Nuzlocke thing on my own Pokemon. But they got to the very end of the game and they were doing a bit of grinding before they got to the end of the game to do like Victory Road and the Elite Four, and it was all like everyone in the studio was real nervous, like we're finally going to finish this game and hope we don't lose all these Pokemon, because if it's game over, it's game over, because they were doing that Nuzlocke, if the Pokemon die, they die type thing. And they grinded for a bit. And the chat was coming into them and telling them all the types for the Elite Four. So, like, make sure you've got this Pokemon up first, whatever else. They walked through the end of the game. And it was so disappointing from, like, I really enjoyed the journey.
Yeah.
And the ending was so disappointing because they had grinded themselves up to a point whereby it was each fight was a one-shot thing.
Because you're grinding to make it more fun, but ultimately it doesn't matter because you just use an attack. And even though you're like, I put so much effort into training them this way and learning these moves, and then you just use a move and you just win. Or you lose if you weren't faster than they are, And like, there's no back and forth here. It's just instant. And I really don't like that. Yeah. So I would give the Pokemon more health or make super effective moves do slightly less damage.
Yeah. Or crits do less damage or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But I want there to be less battles, but longer.
Yeah, I could get behind that.
And more attack, because there's so many cool moves that you'll never use because you only have 4. Yeah. Like, say there's a move that punches through barriers. Now, it doesn't do much damage, but like, because that's so situational, you're never going to pull it as one of your 4 moves, But if you had 8, maybe you'd be able to like prepare for certain situations more, and you'd have more variety. Because the moves as they are fine. Yeah. It's just you'll never.
So many of them you'll never use. You
want a Razor Leaf or a Flamethrower. You're never going to put some like a slight status move on there, as one of your slots, and it's just not.
Which could be fun if you had longer fights, something like that. To
on the plus side, in this game for the first time ever, you can you have 4 moves, but you can change the moves at will. If you learn something, it's not gone forever. Oh, so cool. That is good. I do like that. Yeah, but it's a hassle to have to go in and do that. So you're just never going to do it.
The whole menu operation. And your final thing that you'd use to change in a Pokemon game?
I would add more outfits and create, because in the current game there's basically the avatar. It's similar to the Hogwarts game. Do you know the way like your avatar, and then everyone in the school looks identical to you? That is the same in Scarlet and Violet. So everyone in this, every single student and everyone in the overworld is done with the character creator, which means there's about 10 faces.
Exactly. It's
just not enough. You just want to see some character and some style there. That's what.
And would you grow up the game at all?
Yes, I would write a better story for sure. Any idiot could write a good Pokemon game. I would love to give it a shot.
Yeah, a dark Pokemon story would be amazing. But we're not here to talk about Pokemon. This is the June news episode, and we got shit to talk about. First and foremost of which is the Nintendo Direct. Craig, you want to hop on this episode, and I thought you were like, "Hey, you guys are going to talk about the Nintendo Direct?" Because I found it exciting.
Dan, I'm still a child. I do not talk about the news or discuss the news. Not even video games.
No, but you watched the Direct, and we were talking about it, and you were like, "Did you watch the Direct?" I was like, "I did," thinking that you thought it was quite a positive Direct, like I did.
That was the only reason I wanted to hop on the podcast, is because all the YouTube videos I've seen about the Nintendo Direct put it in a really, really positive light. And then I ask everyone, and they're like, "Oh, it was great, all those announcements." And I'm just like, "Okay, I have to be a voice of reason here."
Oh, you didn't like it?
I thought it was a fucking train wreck. Disaster.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so I've got the list of games that appeared on the Nintendo Direct as they appeared. Yeah. All right. So now, the one thing I want to keep in mind is, just before we kick into this, Greg, my enjoyment from this Direct came from the fact that...
Now, just before you say that, it's June. So this is E3 you're talking about here. This is the E3 window, where you get an hour-long presentation, usually every year, full of every headline that there could possibly be. I know E3 is gone, but Xbox and Sony and Nintendo all released big directs this month.
Well,
so in a way, it's E3, but because we're not calling it E3, it's like how I call, when the video game isn't numbered, you can just label it any piece of shit and people don't think it has to be as good. Because this isn't E3, it's just a Nintendo Direct, we can let it off as though it doesn't matter. But it does matter.
Can I just before you two, because I can feel, it feels like a fight is about to break out in this where we're recording the podcast.
Yeah.
Before we get into that, are there other news items that we have to get to later on?
Yeah, there are other news items we have to get to later on. But if we don't, we can always sit them in the post show.
Yeah, fair. Okay, cool. I just wanted to. Okay, cool. I'm gonna sit back in my chair and.
You watched the Direct though, Luke, right?
I watched. No, I only watched select trailers. Like I saw certain things got announced. I was like, oh, cool. And I went and watched those.
So I want to lead into this with the my take from it. And the reason I thought it was a decent, I wouldn't say it was spectacular, but a decent Nintendo Direct. I mean, I really enjoyed what I saw for the most part. But the last Nintendo Direct we had such an empty cat. Like it was all, we're remaking this, we're rebooting that. Luigi's Mansion, I know we had Luigi's Mansion in this one as well, but it was nothing. The only kind of new piece of information we got was this like Princess Peach kind of she's a star game.
It was terrible.
And it was. And it to me it felt like the nail in the coffin of the Switch. But
yes, we talked about that at the time,
but this Direct, actually, I was like, holy shit, it's got its last legs. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's one last breath before
it can do that when you, basically, they usually have about 3 or 4 Directs a year, but they did, after the first one, the start of the calendar year, they skipped the second one and have gone straight to June. So you should have had another Direct, but they didn't do it.
So
they had twice as much content.
Craig, they're at the end of the console's life
No,
cycle.
you have to notice these weather changes there, Darren. Like, the forecast, like when you see something missing, it's like time hasn't changed. It doesn't mean like this is the second Direct since the last one. No, 6 months have passed, not 3 months.
Yep.
So you should have had more things done, So you don't get an excuse with this.
Oh, wow. Okay. I mean,
not in my book anyway. Like, especially because it's June and it's supposed to be E3.
Yeah. But I thought it lived up to. So we'll start with how it opened up. So we got Mario and Luigi Brothership releasing on the 7th of November 2024. To me, it looks like a fun game.
I rolled my eyes a little bit because this will be the 3rd Mario RPG in the space of 1 year. 3 Mario RPGs, and none of them are good. They were all great when they came out, but I bought Paper Mario at the 1,000-Year Door 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
that was a remake, was it?
Yes, it's a remaster of the old game. And they added a lot of color into the HD and all that stuff. But I mean, the combat is identical to how it was.
This is a brand new game. It's not a remake, not a remaster.
This is a Mario and Luigi, kind of like Bowser's Inside Story sequel. Yeah. So it's going to play a lot like those games where there'll be some platforming running left to right, and the trailer made it look like that's a big deal. But ultimately, if you watch even in the trailer, all you're doing is pressing A or X when prompted.
Yeah.
Like Mario and Luigi are doing things. That's all cutscene.
But they look really good.
Not you
Craig.
But that's not you doing
Luigi
anything.
and Mario were doing front flips and back flips in the trailer, and I was like,
I know,
wow.
but because I'm playing Paper Mario, and like you hold left to get the hammer, or you press A to do the jump, and that's all. The combat is so repetitive and boring. In 2002, it was okay, but in 2024, it's not okay. It's completely. It's ridiculous that they didn't add any sort of different mechanics, especially because the combat is just grind, and like they make you go back and forth, making you get in more fights more often than you need to, just to pad out the game. So in this, I'm like, well, what have you got new to show for it? No, you're just going to be prompting us to press A at the right to jump over or to use that. And like the hammer was used so many. I don't know how Mario's kit now has a hammer in it, but in RPGs it does. And the art style as well. It looked like Mario and Luigi, the Rapids thing. I was like, that's not cool. Doesn't
you
look
don't like
Mario
the art
Luigi.
style?
No,
I liked the art style.
I
was into it.
I'm always, because I mean, Wonders came out recently, which was a slightly different art style to the normal 2D side-scrolling platformers, and I appreciate a little bit of a tweak, just to make it a little bit more interesting.
Don't get me wrong, I loved Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. I loved that idea that Mario and Luigi were inside him, and that was part of the story, and he was like walking around all sick, and you had to switch between the two of them.
Yeah.
Those were pretty cool mechanics, and this could have mechanics like that. But from the trailer, it looks like an on-rails left-to-right 2D kind of platformer, but really not. You're going to get into those RPG battles, and you'll use A and Y to control Mario, and B and X to control Luigi. And
I'm a sucker for any game that has Luigi in it, though, as a very playable character.
But that was their best announcement, I thought.
Wow, okay. Craig is going
deep I really like that series. It's just 3 RPG, and I played all 3. Well, I played the first 2. So for them, if they'd waited a year or 2 to release this, I'd be a little bit excited.
Okay.
But I'm totally bored of Mario RPGs.
That's fair.
We waited 20 years for one, and now it's 3 within 1 year. You know, outrageous.
The next announcement we got was the Nintendo World Championships, the NES edition, which is basically just speedrunning old Nintendo games. I mean, I'd be keen to give it a go. I looked at it and I was like, there's a market for that. Do you know what I mean? There's people who love that shit. I watched a lot of people speedrunning the old Mario Brothers games when me and Danny got really into playing them a lot. So I could see myself possibly dipping into that. And it's cool because the trailer showed like certain, like it had mappings of where the best places to jump, where on any level to like improve your game. And I was like, man, I should just buy that game and absolutely trounce all the lads when I play Super Mario Bros. 3 because I'll know the level, like, you know, back to front or whatever. So that's getting a release date for the 18th of July. Then we got Fairy Tail 2 in winter 2024. It doesn't mean anything to me. I think it's one of them classic
one
things.
of those classic beat 'em ups.
It's an adaptation of the anime, isn't it?
Yes,
yeah. It's based on the anime.
I mean, I love the anime, but the games, no.
And I think it's continuing on the arc or something. I think it's very much story based. It's very much in line with the thing. But again, doesn't do anything for me.
It's guaranteed to be a bad game. You know?
I mean, did
you hear about the first one? Do you remember the first one coming out?
No.
Why is that, Darren?
Yeah, the fact that this is Fairy Tail 2, I was like, oh. But I think it's like I was talking to Chris about this, the Dragon Ball game that was announced.
No, those games are good usually because they've made them so many times.
But see, that my thing about it is I have zero interest in anime games, generally speaking. I've got zero interest in. But there's a market for them, obviously, if they're still coming out. The next one got me really hyped, but then very much disappointed straight afterwards, was Fantasian Neo Dimension, which is from the creator of Final Fantasy with the soundtrack done by Nobuo Uematsu.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, holy shit, is this a brand new game coming out in winter 2024? No, apparently it's a remaster of, I think, a mobile or a PC kind of very basic
But even
game.
if it wasn't, Octopath Traveler was so terrible that like the Square Enix like 3DS type style games like are lost on me now. Like for ages they kept remaking the old Final Fantasies with that terrible art
the
style,
weird sprites
with no feet, you know, that type of nonsense.
Yeah.
And now they're doing the Octopath Traveler shit, but like keeping them really small games. And I'm like, if the game is 2D, you should be able to make them 10 times bigger. Yeah, but you're not. They're
just still small games. Yeah, I mean, like it looked. When I saw that, and I guess that's how they sold it as well. It was like from the dream maker of Final Fantasy and Nobuo Uematsu, and I was like, holy
it's like
shit,
when you go to the cinema and it goes from Ridley Scott, director of Gladiator, and you're like, he's made 10 films since then, but they didn't want to fucking say any of them, like, you know.
So after that, here's an exciting one. So after the Fantasian Neo Dimension, we got Nintendo Switch Sports released basketball.
Yeah,
come out this summer. Craig,
massive disappointment. What do you think? As soon as I saw Nintendo Switch Sports,
but this is my question: do you think that means it's a possibility we'll get more golf courses?
No, because that would be great, and that's impossible. If something is that good, then no, Nintendo aren't going to do it. They already have our money. Like, you know, they're not going to update it. Plus, just so you know, Switch Sports Golf has not one single new golf course in it.
Oh, compared to the Wii Sports Golf?
So in the original Wii, there was 9 courses, and then in the Wii Sports Resorts, there was 12 courses, and then in this, you have the 21 total courses from both those games, looking exactly as they did then.
They did, yeah.
So they didn't add one fucking new
golf wasn't available on that game when it first released either. Sure, it wasn't. It was just golf wasn't available. That was DLC, wasn't it? At a later point.
Yeah. So I refused to buy it until golf
was there. Yeah, fair. The next one is the Mio Memories in Orbit, coming 2025. This gave me a flashback of what Nintendo Directs when they first came out reminded me of. This looks like a really good, positive indie game. Looks like it's got a lot of.
What was this one again? Sorry.
It's kind of like it looks a bit like, I would say, a mixture between Ori and Hollow Knight and things like that. It started off with that creature who was like attached with all the electrical cables and they revived themselves. It came out and it looked like it was a good fun game. But that was like a classic indie kind of title that I always associate Nintendo Directs with, to be like, what the fuck?
Usually it's in their indie showcase.
Yes, yeah.
It's mad that they had to buffer up their own showcase with an indie title. It's like, oh fuck.
Next we have a section of, I'm looking at the list of the next things, probably maybe the weakest part of the Direct. We got a Disney Illusion Island update that was released on the day, called Mystery in Morath, which is, I guess, just extra levels and stuff like that. Then we got Hello Kitty Island Adventure coming 2025, which, in fairness to that, looks like an absolute great rip of Animal Crossing.
I mean, Animal Crossing's also shit, so I mean, like, why not?
You take that back.
You're not an Animal Crossing fan?
I bought it and I enjoyed it for a while, but then I quickly realized that this isn't a game. This is a collection of things. It's like a stickers, like a green little map, and then you place your stickers on it. You can't interact with anything you buy or do anything. You can just sit on it. There's like table tennis or snooker, but your characters just look at it. You can't play anything on it. There's no animations with anything.
Never heard anyone describe Animal Crossing like that before. I've never played any Animal Crossing game.
I just see it for what it is, like, you know.
I'm just a truth sayer.
Yeah.
I'm here to show
you can get
guys
5 fossils a day if you come back every day for the rest of your life.
Oh man, and boy oh boy did I collect them 5 fossils every day. Next we got Looney Tunes Wacky World of Sport coming fall 2024. Any comments?
It's Looney Tunes. It's guaranteed junk.
Yeah, they're from the guys who brought you Multiverses. Is that?
I don't even know if it was from
the
guys.
It was, I guess. I mean, that's supposed to be a good game, right?
I mean,
the Multiverses.
That's
I mean, everything's terrible compared to Smash if you try and do that. You know?
The Looney Tunes belong to the... Is it the Warner Brothers?
Yes.
Yeah. Universe.
So I mean, a WB game then, I suppose.
Yeah, it's not. I don't mean the same studio. I just mean like the general creative thrust, what they're going to put money into. So could be good.
Could be good. I mean, like I said, I have fond memories of those characters nostalgia-wise. I just have no idea if that's going to be a good sport game. Then we got the Among Us update, which was a couple extra character types that you could play as. And listen, I'm cool. Always, look great.
It's just I would never actually play Among Us on the Switch because there's no like voice chat function.
Like we have
whereas the
Discord.
PlayStation now apparently has a link with Discord to be able to actually run that.
PlayStation,
cool. Is it coming soon?
Coming soon, yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to talk about PlayStation and Nintendo Direct, but it's like PlayStation have a good thing and Nintendo have a shit thing.
Yeah. It's a pity. It's a pity that they couldn't. They don't have.
Because I'd love to play that with people who are playing on their laptop but using my Switch.
Yeah, because it'd be so much cozier. I don't really like being on my laptop or anything like that. For
I
playing.
hate it. It's so uncomfortable to just.
I was there, sitting on the couch with your mouse and keyboard. Yeah, it wasn't great. Then we got Farmagia coming the 1st of November 2024, which was like. I think if you can remember the Nintendo Direct, it was
all the farming games.
Well, it was a farming game that when you grew the produce, it turned into monsters that or creatures that would then run in the wilds with you, and you could use them to fight. Doesn't look. This is the weakest bay. There it is. Luke's just currently showing us a video on this. There's a dog. There was a dog who used to be a cucumber. Yeah. And look at them foxes running across that field.
I mean, maybe nobody's gonna get it.
It's like someone in a pitch meeting said, "What if insert farming simulator here crossed with Pokemon."
We then got DK Country Returns, Donkey Kong Country Returns HD.
So a remake / remaster from a Wii game.
Yeah. A remake of a remake, a remaster of a remaster.
Oh, it is. Yeah, because that was the Super Nintendo game.
Yeah. So it's Donkey Kong Country. Then we got Donkey Kong Country Returns that came out on the Wii, but this is Donkey Kong Returns HD. Donkey Kong Country.
This is one of the reasons why I think the next Switch probably isn't going to be backwards compatible. Because they'll want to sell us all those Switch games again.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah. Which is...
It's making me... The fact that they've made now a remake for the second time of the same game makes me believe that they will be dicks and just be like, you know what? No, I'm not backwards compatible.
My worry is that because we'll have not my worries. What I thought was impressive about this was that I don't believe they're going to make it backwards compatible. It's Nintendo. They'll want our money. But what I find impressive about this list, and as the list goes on, there's a couple of extra decent games in there, that they were made with the intention of being released probably just for the first Switch. So I'm quite impressed that Nintendo are still putting in decent money into...
Decent money? That's just a fucking paint job.
No. I mean, in general, for the list of stuff that I have on this Nintendo Direct. Not Donkey Kong Country. I just mean like the Mario and Luigi Brothership. There's a couple of those. I don't want to ruin the surprise for anybody who hasn't gone to the Nintendo Direct and see the other 2 great games that were released, you know?
Okay. You see it very differently to me. I see it as a few years ago we had a 3DS and we had multiple companies making games for that. And we had a Wii U with multiple companies making games for that. Now we only have one machine and suddenly all those companies are gone. The games have dried up. Why is that? That should not be the case. We should have 2x times the amount of games we had before because we have a hybrid console. So Mario and Luigi, that's the 3DS team, you know? That's not the console team. So where's the fucking console games, you know? Why are we getting, and I don't want to spoil it, but there's another one coming up. Like, why are the big name releases all the 3DS type games and not the companies that were making Switch games, Wii U games, you know? Where are they? Did they bury their heads in the sand? Or is it a case of, we only need to put out 5 or 6 good games a year, you know? We'll get a Game Pass thing going soon.
Imagine if the next Switch wasn't a Switch, they went back to like the 3DS form factor. They made a less powerful console. Yeah, it was just.
Well, I mean, because I'm quite curious. I'm very excited when they finally announce it to see is it actually just a Switch 2? Like, is it the exact same thing, just more powerful and maybe looks a bit cooler or whatever else?
I hope it is.
Or are they going to do like a wacky version of like something that's a bit more console based, but you can still somehow take it. I think for
whatever they do, it'll always have to be a handheld hybrid now anyway,
because that's too good to let go.
Because they can't now go back to
it's part of their
handheld, because then they'd have to rehire. But I mean, everyone's under one umbrella now. They'd have to branch into two separate umbrellas to do that, and that's just a massive nightmare.
The handheld market they kind of rejuvenated the handheld market, like you Steam Decks and Asus ROG Allies and stuff like that.
Everybody realized how good an option it was to make. Like, I mean, your Breath of the Wild's being able to be on the go. Everyone was like, holy shit, people really do want that.
Yeah, totally. Despite that, I never ever play handheld ever.
I only play handheld.
I'm kind of mostly handheld, unless it's golf. You know,
it just looks so much better on the TV.
Then we got. Then I thought this was a cool announcement. We got Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake announced, coming out the 14th of November. But what was cool was that when that trailer ended, and I think there's a lot of people excited for this remake because Dragon Quest 3, and Dragon 3 is, or Dragon Quest 3 is probably one of the more popular ones. Then the end of that trailer had the cool artwork with the music playing, and then the music died out, and this other music kind of crescendo that was, I guess, from the first and second games. That cool artworks for them, and I had like Dragon Quest Remake 1 and 2 coming 2025. That was a cool, like, the announcement was done very well, and I think there's lots of people who are very, very excited about that.
You say lots of people, but you mean only in Japan.
I know, I think it's big enough here now.
I don't think so at all. Maybe the Dragon Quest 11, maybe, but only Dragon Quest 11.
That's been the most recent one, right?
Yeah. Before that, most people hadn't heard of Dragon Quest. In fact, it was very much a Japan-only type game.
You would have heard of it, but most people, I'd never talked to anyone who'd played it a bunch. And similarly, I got Dragon Quest 11. I'm not super far into it still. But bit huge in Japan. It didn't have much of a marketing push here. No. Or when the original Dragon Quest games were coming out, the industry was very torn in the West of how to market games like Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest. And so they were the marketing was a bit all over the place, I think, so there wasn't a big...
Whereas the Final Fantasies got serious, Dragon Quest never kind of really got this.
And those two are
on
par with each other in Japan, but go anywhere west and Final Fantasy dominates. You know?
Yeah, true.
All right, this next one was a great addition. My highlight, Funko Fusion. Coming
Funko I'm already annoyed that anytime I go to like a comic book shop, we have all these Funko things in there. I'm like, how is this a comic? What the fuck's going on?
Bad. The game doesn't look like it's performing well. Even in the trailer, I was like, ugh, that looks like a rough game. What is this doing in here? But all those Funko Pops are now in a game called Funko Fusion. After that, we got Luigi's Mansion 2 HD for coming the 27th of June. So by the time
3DS game.
Yeah. But what I like about it is, and this is what I mean about the remakes coming through in the way that they are, is that I don't have a 3DS anymore, so I can't play that game.
Why not? What happened to your 3DS?
I gave it to my brother, and oh no, he still has it.
There you go.
Yeah, you go.
Sorry,
I just get it back. Well, yeah, well, if
I can give you a loan of it if you want.
Great. But
don't give them €50.
But it's a Luigi game, Craig. But Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, again, nothing much to say about that. Looked fine. Then we got the new Denpa Men, and I can't even remember what that trailer was. After that, we got Metal Slug Attack Reloaded, which I got excited about, but then realized it was a remaster of a mobile game that was card-based in the Metal Slug universe, which was a little bit disappointing. Darkest Dungeon 2, which is kind of like an artsy RPG, looked okay.
It's very famous, very popular game series, Darkest Dungeon. Old game series, though. It's not.
Sure.
This isn't just releasing. Darkest Dungeon 2 has been out for years. RPG dungeon crawling style where you try and stop your guys from going insane as you go through.
Very
dungeons.
Cool.
Really popular.
And like this, the art style looked great. Like it reminded me of as if I was kind of playing a very kind of what would you say, modern day kind of indie board game. Yeah, the art style was the moves and stuff like that. I was like, oh, that's cool.
It didn't pull me in, but I mean, if it's good, it's good.
It's supposed to be very. I've only played a bit of the first one, but it's people who like that game love that game. It's really very popular.
After that, we got the update for the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack, which included Perfect Dark on the Nintendo 64, which I thought was a cool little announcement in there. I was wondering when that would actually rear its head, and I guess maybe in a push to remind everybody that there's another Perfect Dark coming out, they decided to get it onto the direct.
Nintendo and the Xbox team up again.
Yeah. But that was kind of interesting. They had a Zelda game, I can't remember which one it was, Four Swords or something like that, I think. was released in that expansion pack. Then we got into Phantom Brave, The Lost Hero. I've nothing really to say about that one. That looks like a classic like Squenix
dud.
But then we got the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection coming this year, which is a big deal for people who enjoy that game.
That's coming to everything. I watched Maximilian Dude's reaction to it, and he went apeshit immediately. Yeah. And like, when I saw that, like, I was like, that looks like a pretty cool game. But that's coming to every single like
not
Steam,
Xbox.
Is it not Xbox?
Xbox don't get it. No,
because he was saying it was.
No, I think it's and Xbox fans are annoyed as to like why isn't it coming to Xbox? But it's got PlayStation, PC, and Switch. But it's interesting that Nintendo managed to get. Because I mean, the people who love this game have been waiting for this game to come back to life.
Yeah, apparently there was massive like.
It got delisted on everything. I can't remember what the licensing issue was, but it just you couldn't buy it. I had it on the PlayStation 3, and me and Graham loved playing it. We played
actually
it all the
had
time.
it on the PC way back, and some of them like just the X-Men versus
I'm gonna take
Marvel
you for
type
a
thing.
ride. I mean, the music and everything that was so jazzy. It was just a really interesting game, and my
just
team
had that kind of like 90s looking art style.
Yeah.
You know, I really like that.
With Captain and because it was a team of 3, which I thought was an unusual thing as well. Rather than like a tag team, you had 3 people on your team when you went into a fight, and mine was always Wolverine, Captain America, and Ken was my trio. So listen, that was a cool grab by Nintendo, I think, because to me that should have been something
cool
that was
announcement,
on the Summer Games Fest.
Because
that
apparently as it went live, their Twitter feeds went live for the first time in like 10 years or something like that.
They haven't used it in so long. So that was cool. That means the game isn't dead, and it was a good grab for Nintendo to be the ones to be able to show that. Then we got the Super Mario Party Jamboree, which actually looks like it has got a few cool little additions. The online 20
It looked like a good Mario Party game, but for me they always look good, and then they always disappoint.
Yeah.
Like they always have like 3 or 4 levels, like just bare barrel stuff, like like just like they should have 10 to 12 levels each time, but they always seem to come out with only 4 or 5 and only 50 mini games or something.
The Mario Party series, I'd love if they did the same thing that like the Mario Kart games do, or the Mario Kart 8 games.
Well, Mario Kart, they clearly want to make a good game. But the Mario Party, they're not.
No, but I'd love for them to make a core Mario Party game that's at its base amazing and constantly release this DLC. Like here's a new map, here's a couple of new mini games, here's a new online option you can do. But like this weird kind of like because there's 2 Mario Party games that came out before this. The first one was devastatingly disappointing, and then the next one came out and everyone was like, oh, maybe they fixed it. And I was like, no, not really. It's still.
Whereas if you combine the 2, it'll probably be pretty good.
Yeah.
But because they have to separate it all, it's.
I think the first one of those that came out was it was a original, like all the maps were new, and then the next one was a remake of one of the older Mario parties. It was Superstars.
No, it just had like I think it had 1 or 2 levels that they'd remastered from the old games, but they had a couple of new ones as well. But again, still disappointing. This Jamboree one is on the same thing. There's 2 maps that they've recreated from Nintendo 64.
I'm quietly optimistic, but the fact that they're like 2 maps from the N64, I'm like, does that mean they're not going to make anything
else? Yeah,
that's probably what that means.
Yeah,
you'll have like 6 or 7 maps from previous games, only they've been redone in supposed HD, but they look fucking shit now,
Moving on from there, we got Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, which is a big kind of announcement. A lot of people that I watched reacting to the video thought it was a remake of a certain game, weren't expecting a brand new Zelda game.
Because the original was just a Link's Awakening, wasn't it? But it was just that shit art style.
Yeah, which in fairness, I quite like that art style. I think it's.
Did you play the game?
It's cozy. It's a cozy game. No, I watched a playthrough of like the first 2 or 3 hours of it, and to me, it looked like a cozy game. I'd be like, oh, that'd be nice to sit down of a cold evening and chop a few plants.
It doesn't look fun though. It looks very much like it plays how it played 20 years ago on the Game Boy or whatever.
Yeah.
Just like you move at like 1 mile an hour. But it's grid based.
What I love
is attack or shield, and that's pretty much it.
This one's like a modern day one. Look, I don't know if you've got the trailer there, if you saw this one, but the new thing that Zelda has where she can mimic stuff. It's got like Breath of the Wild aspects to it.
Way worse. You can put a table on top of another table. You can put a bed, and then you can climb on top of it.
But Craig, it's not trying to be Breath of the Wild.
It's trying to be unique, but it's just using bland objects. Similar to Animal Crossing, that like you can't interact with anything. So in Zelda can jump on top of things, but that's all we see her being able to do. Like she's not able to fucking pick up a deadly weapon and swing it.
No,
or
but she
do something
can.
cool.
She can mimic certain enemies that you come across.
She can capture enemies and then release
use
them back at them
strategically, because certain enemies would be better against.
So while your
ones.
enemy is like running around fighting, you'll just be trying to run around in the background really slow.
Stacking tables.
Like on an old school Pokemon, up, down, left, right. You know, like that's all you're doing while your monster fights for itself.
This direct.
No, and
where's your fun, Craig? Where's your love for all things new?
But that's a classic case of they made that game in 6 months. That didn't take long to make.
I don't think they made it in 6 months.
They made it very quickly, is what I'm saying. Like the last Zelda game was 6 years. This was not that. This is a classic case of we just need more. Because even in the last one, the Link's Awakening, DX or whatever it was, but they made a system where you could like put the tiles in any order you want, so you can kind of have a create your own level type thing.
A Mario Maker
stuff, but not really, because you could only rearrange them. What's in them remains the same.
Okay.
So it's shit.
Yeah.
So basically they're just doing that again, but now you play as Zelda. And I'm like, that sucks. That really sucks. And she can climb.
I think it could be cool.
I think it looked fun.
It could be cool.
I
I bet everything it won't be.
You and me still have that childish wonder in our lives.
the twinkle in our eyes.
Yeah.
Now, when I see a game like that, I'm like, if that was €30, I would get behind it and I would be really positive. But I always just think, that's €60.
That's 60
and
quid.
that took them less than a year to make. They are stealing.
That does always kick me in the shins. When I see a new Nintendo game that I think looks really promising, I go, wow, that looks really good. And I think the same thing. I'm like, that looks really great for a €30 game. And then I go to the Switch store and everything is 60 quid.
Everything's 60 quid. And it could be up there for 7 or 8 years and it'll still be 60 quid.
Yeah.
It's very rare that a Nintendo game goes on sale.
Oh,
there are a few now, but it's only ever like 25% or something.
So I really hope it is good. I think it can be. Like I think the way the mechanics of that they've established.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know how to make a fun game with that, but I'm sure there are people out there who do know that.
I don't think there are.
Hopefully.
Because climbing on top of different things is still just the same thing. You know?
Oh, God. Just Dance 2025 was announced after that.
And how much time did Just Dance get? How much time does Just Dance usually get in Nintendo Directs? It's usually one of those games that pops up really quickly when they do the montage.
You got 1 minute and 5 seconds.
Yes, it did. I had that written down too.
Oh, did you?
That means that this Direct was fucking suffering because Just Dance got over a minute of screen time when it usually, and it's in every Direct ever, it usually gets 5 or 6 seconds. You know, you just usually see someone dancing and then it goes to Tetris or the next game.
And a little voiceover being like, and you can dance to your
Just
favorite
Dance
tunes.
24, Just Dance 23.
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
And Just Dance 25, but no, a whole minute of just nothing.
Well, the Switch is getting Lego Horizon Adventures. That's fun. I didn't think they would. You know?
Oh yeah, true. Sorry, I forgot. I knew you were excited for this game because
yes, and it's just interesting to see an Horizon game that's on anything other than PlayStation because it's quite exclusive to Sony. But that's cool.
But it makes sense. It would be a Lego thing.
Yes,
Nintendo
exactly. It would
could
go everywhere.
possibly maybe get behind that.
Then we got Stray being released for the Switch, which is a funny one. I thought Stray was already on the Switch.
It is already on the Switch.
What?
Well, it says
Stray.
So what's it getting?
So it's not Stray. It's like a sequel or a different variation of the game, isn't it?
Oh, I just said Stray on my list. Holiday 24.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
A Stray's journey begins. Maybe that's not the name of the game. Maybe.
I think it's just like another game in the Stray universe.
I'd
rather call it Stray 2. They've chosen to do
something else.
Some wordplay.
Oh, interesting.
But now it doesn't necessarily have to be good, and people are going to give it credit because they didn't call it Stray 2, Darren.
No, but I think I genuinely think this was Stray being announced for Nintendo.
It is. Yeah. From what I can see in the trailer, it is just Stray.
Just Stray the
really?
game. Yeah,
so it's not a sequel.
No, because I thought it was.
I take back the credit that I've given them for that.
Jesus Christ. We got Tales of the Shire, that Lord of the Rings game, coming winter 2024. It doesn't look fantastic, unfortunately. I thought a farming simulator based in the Shire or Hobbiton would have been amazing, but I don't know. It didn't grab me from the trailer. So wait and see.
Yeah, I don't remember the trailer for that one.
Ace Attorney Investigations Collection. People will be pleased with that. I never played them, but there's a big market for those Ace Attorney games. People love them.
They're really popular on the DS and GBA.
Yeah,
you know? It's good to be able to
get them all back
now, but
for 60 quid.
For 60 quid, yeah, of course.
The 100-line Last Defense Academy coming 2025. I mean, Did
you just make up those words?
No. The 100-line Last Defense Academy. I guess this school has 100 days to survive.
100 lines. Last Defense Academy.
Yeah, the 100 line Last Defense Academy 2025. I thought it looked okay. It's like another school. It's like the Persona 5 school type thing, but the actual execution of the game, I was like, I don't really know if there's a whole lot here that I'd be thrilled about.
Yeah, that's the art style of Persona 5 big time. Those are the same enemies as well.
Maybe it's in the universe.
The Shin Megami Tensei did that too. Like it's basically just the Persona games again.
Well, Shin Megami Tensei is where Persona comes from.
Yeah, they originated.
After that, then the second last thing on the announcement was the Romancing Saga 2: Revenge of the Seven from Square Enix.
Cool.
I'm surprised you actually named every game. We could have just went over like maybe 10 of these.
But
I'm already bored of this.
But it's a good. This game actually looks really nice.
There's too many. Like
it's good. It's good to get the full picture of what
was out there, because I don't think we're going to get. I think the next Nintendo Direct that we get will be to announce the Switch 2. So this would be the last announcement of. So I wanted to give it its time.
We might have said that last time though.
Well, I mean, I genuinely thought it was the last Direct that we were getting. But then we ended with what many people thought was dead, which was Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, which I would say was cool to see, but I'm disappointed that that's not a Switch 2 launch game. It'll be a end of the Switch 1's life cycle game.
It will be a Switch 2 launch game. Like they
probably, even though graphically it looked terrible.
Yeah, like not in the same way Breath of the Wild was like a Switch launch game.
Yes.
It didn't come out on the Switch first, it came out on the Wii U first.
But what I mean to say is that it's disappointing in the fact that the Switch 2 supposedly has the ability to play better looking games. It's got more power in it. That I'm disappointed that the Metroid wasn't built for that.
Well, based on how Metroid Prime 4 looks, and I think it looks awful, I'm glad it's not anything for the Switch 2 to be based off of. Because if I saw the Switch 2 and that was the thing that they were showing to show how good the graphics were, I'd be very disappointed.
Yeah.
You know, like the trailer opens with the usual Metroid Prime visor font.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of when Sakurai did the Final Fantasy reveal and he used the old graphic for Final Fantasy 7. You know, he just used ding, 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 and it was like the old like JPEG.
Yeah.
Like they used the same font from 2002 that looked miserable like crap.
Yeah.
And like it's just like Samus has returned, blah blah blah. Here we go.
Were you happy to see that the game actually exists and it's been made?
No, because I immediately, as soon as I saw it, I was just like, this is just Metroid remastered. There wasn't a single new ability. There wasn't a single new weapon. She was just doing the things she could do in Metroid Prime, and it looked just like Metroid Prime. Like, she was shooting bad guys, right? And the bad guys, when they're shot, they light up. Now, you compare this to like another first-person shooter that you're playing recently, Doom. When you shoot a bad guy, they get impacted, right? They start moving, or their heads blow off, or like you see something happen when you shoot them. They don't just change color.
Yeah.
In 2024, that's unacceptable. That you're peppering guys with bullets that are clearly like going 20 miles an hour, and they light them up and don't do fuck all damage as well, and use your charge shot, and the enemy just takes it. And then when their finally health reaches zero, they may as well just disappear. They don't fall down. They don't fall over backwards or get thrown into a wall. There's no impact. Do you know what I mean?
Based on that trailer, there's no impact. But what I find to say is why I would reserve any sort of, because I would agree. I thought it looked disappointing.
But as an early on trailer, I was like, well, show me the new gimmick. What's this Metroid Prime going to do that's different from the old game? And all they did was show us the
well, I think
it's
been so long since we had a Metroid Prime that I think they're probably trying to.
You think that, but they released Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3 for the Wii U as a remaster, and I bought it like an idiot because I was just like, you know what, let's go, thinking it would be better, but they didn't do anything to adjust those games, and I got through the first one, and I was like, this is terrible.
What I mean to say is that in the
great in 2002, just so I can be clear, but
not
that
so
was
good
a long
now.
time ago.
But I wonder will this play a bit, and I think they're just trying to maybe say, hey, this is what Metroid is. Be like, we're not going to make it all massive and gimmick. This is what Metroid is, but it's to bring in a new audience. But again,
you may as well just put Metroid Prime 4 on the screen and show nothing, because what they did show was just Metroid Prime 1. Like, even Samus dashes to the right and keeps blasting enemy, and the enemy doesn't turn to blast Samus. The enemy keeps firing where she was. And I was like, look at this 2002 AI bullshit, like, you know.
Yeah, again, I
hated that.
I'd reserve my impressions, because the thing that worried me about that trailer, more so than it looking maybe less than I would have anticipated for a brand new Metroid, would have been the fact that when they came out, they said a planned 2025 release, which means that there's no guarantee that after everybody's waiting for so long, there's no guarantee that it even gets next.
I feel they also don't know where it's really going, because they purposely made it look just like Metroid Prime 1. We didn't see any new weapons or any
they
of that
weren't
type of
brave
stuff. They weren't ready.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm worried, you know, especially because of just how bland it looked. Like, it looks like Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3. And why don't you just play them again, you know? Like, you need new weapons, new hooks, new weird ways to play. So unless you're going to show that, there's no reason to get excited. They may as well have just said Metroid Prime 4 and shown nothing.
Coming maybe 2025, maybe. I mean, that was the end of the Direct. Luke, I know you saw a few trailers and things like that. You didn't watch the whole thing, but I mean, I know we were spoiled with the Xbox showcase. I don't think we're going to get a better showcase than that for a while. But did you enjoy what you saw in that Nintendo Direct?
I did, yeah. Yeah, I thought it was cool. The Zelda thing really made me happy. That was cool to see. I work in the creative arts, and we talk a lot about constraints are a really big part of working in the creative arts, where like creative constraints get put on you for whatever reason, and it's fun to see how that, you know, bolsters creativity a lot of the time. So when I see games like that look like demakes, like the Zelda game does, it looks like it could be a 3DS game. That kind of will give the artists and game designers a lot of license to do something fun and creative and push. Basically, I think it gives them the room to prioritize game design, which is why I do have faith that there are game designers out there who could
make the game fun,
make that mechanic, like do things with it that I couldn't even imagine. In the same way, like Breath of the Wild came out, and I wouldn't have been able to describe a game like Breath of the Wild to you before that existed, except in vague terms. I'm hoping it's the same with this. I hope that the Zelda game comes out and it will just really excite me.
Just be fun and a different kind of thing. And I love that art style. I know, Greg, you're not a big fan of how it looks, but I'm a big fan. I think that it's a real cozy kind of game style. I love it.
The vibes are nice. Yeah. The Mario and Luigi RPG looked cool. I could kind of see that being, obviously that was part of their strategy for the last while. Like they remastered or they remade Super Mario RPG and they made it exactly the same, and then they did Thousand Year Door. So they're clearly want to go in the direction of RPGs with the Mario universe again, get that train going up, and this is their kind of first original entry in that in a while. So that was exciting to see. Hopefully they put a good foot forward there. And apart from that, just a lot of it did seem fairly littered with like Darkest Dungeon 2. I know that's been a game that's been around for a while. Yeah, Among Us was one of their titles, remakes of Dragon Quest.
Lots of the classic remake remasters, but I wouldn't necessarily. That's a Nintendo. That's everybody. Everybody's remakes remasters totally. are the vibe
but
at the minute.
None of them get a pass for it. We're all going to criticize anyone who does it. Like
it sucks. It's not what you want to see. You want to see original studios, or even if it is Nintendo, you love to see the original ideas come out and be like, oh, cool. That's a new thing. And going back to talking about Game Pass, that's why I love Game Pass, is to find gems of video games and be like, well, shit, I'd never have imagined a game like this. Let's just give it a rip, put a few hours into it. Happy days. So I really, and I've always liked that about Nintendo, that they are really good at not putting massive amounts of pressure on themselves to be like cutting edge graphics and like not to march to the drum of all the market standards of, you know, graphics and frame rates and stuff. Instead, they tend to focus a bit more on the gameplay itself,
which I think games in general need to pull back a little bit from. As much as I love Horizon Forbidden West is an amazing looking game, and that one plays well. Like, you know, but there's a lot of games out there that they might look great, but it's kind of all like a surface level thing that the game hasn't been, or they've stretched themselves. They've stretched themselves so much trying to make it graphically like, wow, this is look amazing or whatever else, that the game itself is like, well, this looks great, but I'm not having a whole lot of fun. From my perspective, Mio looked amazing. I'm very excited about that. That looks like a game that I would eat up. And then I know it's on a Nintendo Direct thing, but I'm just chuffed that Nintendo got the announcement. The Marvel v Capcom thing was really exciting news for me as well, because I can't and I love in that trailer, like they just know the audience for that game. Because at one point they play the track, you know, they stop and they stop for a second. I think even when it came up and it had like Ryu or something like that and the picture, and underneath it just said, "I'm going to take you for a ride," which is the main theme for the Marvel v Capcom 2. And I was watching going, no, that game's dead. Like, you know, there's no way this is here. And when it came on, I was like, this is amazing. And the whole collection. And like as you said, you watched the Maximilian Dude video. There's people who probably have no major love for Nintendo, but saw that Nintendo got this announcement and were like, holy shit, like what a way to announce the game. I'm surprised it wasn't at Summer Game Fest. That seems like if it's going to be on everything, that seems like the natural, like Jeff Keighley's announcement.
It's a very odd thing for
Nintendo to have.
Nintendo Direct, when it probably won't sell as much on Nintendo as it would for Steam and all the other ones.
Yeah,
like, you know.
Yeah. But in fairness, it's the kind of game that I think maybe for performance-wise, although it's an old enough game, for performance-wise, I'd probably try and get it on the PS5. But I think I'd really like to play the handheld.
Any game that has a competitive online, you're not going to play on Switch because it's never going to be as good.
Which is true, and it's a pity because it's not cross-platform at all. Which was another, which is a disappointing thing that was announced afterwards.
On the Switch,
like. Yeah, because you're not going to be playing it at all. So those are great, and I was excited to. I've no massive love for Metroid, any of the games. I was excited for the fan base to find solace in the fact that
I'm the fan base. I bought Metroid Prime 1, Metroid Prime 2, and Metroid Prime 3, so I have every right to be as angry as I am.
No, you've got every right to be angry based off if you're not happy with what you saw. But I'm glad people got to see something because I think for a while there was a lot of talk of like, did they just make Dread and then just can 4? Like, did they make Dread
at least when like had a lot of new mechanics and new things to see? For me, I was excited when I saw Dread. You know, it's not my type of game, but I think that's a way better concept than the 3D Samus. Because if you don't have great graphics in the first person, you need cool mechanics.
Yeah,
and we didn't see any of that. Whereas with Dread, right out the gate, they showed those things chasing you, and I'm like, that's cool. You know, that's something I can get behind. Whereas with this, I was just like, I've seen all of those things.
Yeah.
So, no, it doesn't do it for me.
Fair. I mean, there was other news that happened this month, but I we're approaching close to the hour. So what I will ask is the question of this for you guys, and we'll go into a news bit or two in our post show.
Can I ask you guys a question immediately after?
Yeah, of course. We got to see an Xbox showcase, a Nintendo Direct, and a State of Play all in the month of June.
E3, but not.
E3, but not. I mean, E3 is essentially dead. This is how they're going to do it from now on. That's just how we have to live our lives. And maybe sometimes they'll give some of their exclusives to the big Jeff Keighley show. If you've seen them all, in what order would you rate them? For me personally, I would have put the Xbox showcase as the number 1. I thought that had, pacing and everything that was amazing. The Nintendo Direct as number 2 because I thought the content of that was great, and the State of Play I actually found very, very disappointing. So I'll put the State of Play as number 3. And I'm a Sony guy. But that was my...
I'm a Nintendo guy, and I always go Xbox, Sony, Nintendo. I would also put my console
your thing at the bottom.
And I'm an Xbox guy, and I didn't watch any of them, really. I only watched the Nintendo one. But cool to hear that Xbox is doing well. That's nice. It was.
They're not firing people,
yeah. No, it was good.
But here, my question is, out of all the games on the Nintendo Direct, and... based on, say, we can guess that maybe the Switch 2 will be released maybe winter of 2025. Let's just guess that it's there.
And
assuming it is, what game for the Switch will you buy between now and then?
The Mario Party I could potentially buy. The Jamboree, yeah. I mean, because I love the thing about it is it's tough. The Nintendo games for me, I tend to go for the more multiplayer aspect of them.
Me too.
But it's a big amount of money to fork out when I'm not guaranteed that I'll have people who want to play Mario Party with me all the time. Like we're a Smash Brothers group. We always want to play Smash Brothers. But if we went up to your house one day to play Smash and someone said, "Oh, do you want to throw a game of Mario Party on?" You'd probably have a couple of, we're playing Smash and I love Smash Brothers.
I'd play it, but especially if there was a new Mario Party. But realistically, we're going to get a little bit excited about Mario Party, and then day one, it's going to get a 6 out of 10 from IGN.
Yeah.
We're going to drop our heads and go, not again.
Yeah.
And we've been burned dozens of times. This is like Mario Party 20 or something at this stage.
I also really like Mario Party. I'm always down to play Mario Party.
I really want to, but they don't put any effort in, you know.
Yeah. It's a pity because the last two have been so disappointing.
Just give us all of the things in one game, and then it would be great, but they don't. It's like FIFA. They just want you to buy it every year, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they don't want to make a good game. They just don't.
But this one looked like, with the online stuff that they had announced in it, I can see myself potentially buying Mario Party Jamboree, and before the Switch 2 comes out, if Mio is only a Switch exclusive, I'll buy Mio as well. Okay. Mio look great. So those would be the two. I mean, Mario and Luigi Brothership, but I will wait. That's a game I will 100% wait for the reviews for, because that's a game that, like, I'd be keen to try that, but as you said, it could just be a press this button here.
I'm burnt out on the RPGs, so I definitely won't be getting that. And like you said, Mario Party may or may not be good, and I'm going to assume, based on the numbers game and based on how many bad Mario Parties there have been compared to good ones, that realistically it's going to be a bad game. So there's not a single Switch game that I intend to buy between now and its closure. Not one. And that really upsets me.
But I think that's fair for a dying console. Name me a console that when it was on its last legs before the new iteration was coming out, had a rake of great games to buy in its last year.
I think GTA 5.
Yeah, I think PlayStation and Xbox were doing pretty well in that department. They were doing better than Nintendo. Nintendo have a weird ecosystem where there's so much first-party stuff, and it puts so much pressure on their first-party stuff to be good. But
it's because after a couple of years, the third-party support usually dies for this Nintendo consoles because they're doing so poorly, or because they can't make games for the console because they have to downgrade their versions that are on the PlayStation, and they're like, they don't want to deal with that.
Like, I never want to see or witness. I haven't watched a single video, but I don't want to see what Hogwarts Legacy is playing on the Switch.
Like anyone who buys Hogwarts Legacy or The Witcher 3, I told you, don't do it. Like,
yeah, I'm the same camp as you. I don't see myself buying any Switch games between now and the Switch 2, just because they're really expensive, and they're not that good. Like Tears of the Kingdom, I knew was going to be good. I got that, and then
that is great value for money, especially if you got it with the voucher, because that is a proper good game. Like you know, but like they're so like if you play like based on how much content is in Tears of the Kingdom, nothing else comes close other than Smash Brothers, like and Mario Kart. Yeah. But those three have just so much content in them compared to everything else. It's laughable. Like.
Well, I would. The other thing I would say is that Animal Crossing, from a DLC perspective, has been very heavily supported. Like with loads
there's more
of
things
stuff.
You can store in a box or put in a room and then
only
not
one
touch.
Paid DLC, right?
There was
and the rest was all free.
Yeah, there was one paid DLC, which is where you flew to another island and you became a person who helped house people in their holiday homes, and you just decorated them with their tastes. And I got a kick out of that for a little while. That was towards the end of the lockdown and stuff. So once I got to go into the real world again, I was like, all right, okay, I'm finished Animal Crossing.
Okay, I don't want to like get into a big conversation about that.
but
the villagers don't even talk or say anything. They have like 3 lines of dialogue.
We started during the episode.
No. Listen. I'm not saying it's a fantastic game. What I mean to say is another game that was supported, at least that had a big section of DLC and stuff like that. And I'm excited for the next. I love Animal Crossing. Was an announcement for the Switch 2. A new Animal Crossing
that'd be huge actually.
Get me some of that. Yeah. Well, that's all we have time for, guys.
That was the news. Oh my god.
I mean, we would have done more, but you know, we definitely stuck on the Nintendo Direct for like the full hour here. So I want to just drop us into anything else. What we will do is we'll touch upon some of those articles in the post show. And to our listeners, if you are enjoying what you hear, do tell a mate. Or if you say to yourself, "God damn, I gotta stop having so much caffeine in my life. It's not good for me." Then I say to you, take that coffee money and put it into our Patreon. Damn it.
Damn it.
Dang gummit. That's where
I'm
you should
also
put your money.
sorry for being so negative about the Nintendo Direct, but everyone was so happy that we need one person to go the other way to balance it out. So I went hard against it.
But I mean, listen.
But that's on you guys for thinking it was so good. You know? So you were to blame.
That's on you guys for trying to have a good time. I'll take it. Luke and Craig, thank you so much for hopping on the show. Craig, thank you so much for shitting on Nintendo for essentially about an hour. It was very impressive, actually. I am impressed.
That's my console.
To our listeners, tell your friends, hit up the Patreon, patreon.com/thegiftofgaming if you want to let us know how much you loved or hated the Direct. Let us know at thegiftofgaming@gmail.com. And until next time, as always and forever, keep enjoying the gift that is gaming. Peace out.